Okay, we're live.
I know.
All right, welcome everybody to our budget workshop for this month. So, Michael, you want to come up and lead us off and give us a good and bad and ugly?
All right, how's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay, on page 1, we're going to talk about our sales and use tax. On our chart there, and we did put page numbers, so this time hopefully we'll make it easier. We page numbered the graphs and everything so that hopefully we could do that a little bit easier. But on page 1, the taxes that we received in February for the month of December was a total of $264,981.31. Our breakout is the 1% was $111,571, and then the 1/4% that goes to the parks was $27,892.77, and then the 1.25 was $13,946.38. If you look on the distribution on the side, 35% of the 1% goes to streets, so they got $39,049.88. The general fund got 65% of that, which was $72,521.20, for a total amount down at the bottom going to the general fund of $158,968.18, $39,000 going to streets, $41,000 going to parks, and $25,000 being retained for our bond payment. On page 2, you'll see the comparisons, and at this point, we are, for the first 2 months, we are down $25,000 in sales tax of what we had collected in the prior year of 2022. The good news is I know the numbers for March and April, and we rebound, so we're not too concerned about that right now because we do rebound. On page 3, you'll see the sales and use tax comparison of the years over year to just kind of see where January and February came in through the bar graph. So does anybody have any questions over that part of it before we go on? Okay. The next one, page 4, is your revenue and expenditure report summary. The date of the report is 2/28 of 2023. Overall percentage of the fiscal year completed up at the top is 16.16%. And so you will see each department listed with the total of expenses for that department. And currently we have, down at the bottom, you'll see our total revenue is $1.9 million and our total expenses are $1.8 million. So we have a net of $74,591.47 through the first 2 months of the year.
Is water sewer behind? I mean, are they losing money? Kind of looks like it.
Actually, it's water and sewer is a little tricky, but if you look at their department revenue and their department expenses, they're actually not losing money as of right now. The tricky part of that is part of those funds that are coming in revenue are the I&I, so it gets transferred out to the revenue account. So when you kind of transfer out, even though that money's over there, it's kind of earmarked for specific things, it kind of makes it look like that we're losing money in the water department. But it, if you look on page, and this is the details. If you look on page, I think it's about 18. No, 17.
18?
No, I'm
17.
sorry, 17.
16,
You'll look on
17.
17. Water and sewer were down. We've got total revenues of $265,000 and total expenditures of $280,000. So that's showing a small amount of a loss. But then you have to take into account that some of that's I&I that's going out. So, we do have some loss there.
I have my standard question. How are we with the upgrade of the water meters?
We have received everything in for several hundred of the water meters. We have not received all of the heads in. What we're waiting on is, I think, the antennas on them that they've received in one shipment of them. They're supposed to come out and start installing those within the next few weeks. And what he said they were going to do was they're going to come out and install, and hopefully those others are going to start coming in as they're installing, but hopefully they're going to start installing those in the next couple of weeks. So.
And what is their projected completion time?
It's gonna, when they originally said it, if they had all of the heads, it was gonna take two weeks to do the entire city. But now that it's, they're only gonna be doing a few as they come in, I'm not sure if that's gonna drag it out some.
Try it
But
out to
one of the
what, 2
things
years, you think, Michael?
No. He's saying just a few months. But one of the things that he did tell us was that even though this isn't the way we wanted to do it, this will give them time to come in, install 100, 200 of the meters, and us be able to test them, be able to run the software, be able to run the handhelds, be able to do the drive-bys like that. And then if there's any bugs in the system, we can get that out before we install the rest of them.
So this is all at a contract price. It's not,
Yes.
they're not charging us more
No,
for their
no,
additional
it's an
time.
installation price. So that was part of our agreement with them. It's for all the equipment and for the installation. And that was one of the questions I had. I was like, he's not going to charge us higher to come out here like 10 times instead of just coming out here once. And so
Right.
he said no, that it was going to be.
Is it a matter of a back order of the parts?
I don't think that, I think it's just that it's not necessarily a back order, it's just getting them to us and getting the supply. But he said that they would be here, he thought they were going to be here at the 1st of April. We did get a shipment in April, but we thought they were all of them, but it wasn't. And so now he's working on that, trying to get them to us. But this company is kind of weird in that they deal with a lot of cities, and so they kind of juggle parts around. And if your city gets this part but hasn't got all the rest of them, and then this city over here needs that part, they'll pull it from that city and send it over here. So that's kind of, they really are doing their best to get as much parts to the city that has everything and to get them installed.
So it is a shortage of parts.
Yes,
Yeah. Like everything else, supply chains.
yes. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Is there anybody looking at getting a new website for the city?
Yes, we are working on that. We've reached out to, I had to remind me, hang on, I've got the paperwork right here.
Civic Plus.
Civic Plus. Civic Plus is a website designer that does websites for cities. And basically what they will do is they will piecemeal the information into your existing website, or they can build a whole website for you. How we got to them was Fayetteville is using a system called ClickIt, where you can click on and say, hey, I was driving down College Avenue, I hit a pothole and it almost bust my tire. Well, then their street system, it goes to their streets will do it, they'll say, well, we're going to send somebody out to look at it. Then they can kind of keep up in this log with that person of what's going on with that problem. So we were looking at that, and that brought it to this overall website design. So what we're doing is we're reaching out to them to see how much it would cost for them to do, because with Ida's stuff, with her municipal code and everything, they work with the company that she works with on getting all the municipal code and everything like that online. So we're hoping that may, but we don't know a cost yet.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is kind of see how much it's going to cost us for them to take the whole thing and build us, similar to the other cities around here. If not, if that's too expensive, then we might look at them trying to piecemeal some things, because we would like to get like building permits and things like that where they can go and pay those online and not have to come down to the courthouse. Just some different things like that we would like to get us a little bit further. And they've kind of already invented the wheel, and so instead of us going back, and because that's kind of the problems that we have now, is that, especially when we go back and look at bills on things, different departments get charged different prices for the same thing, like with our Cox Cable, you know, and so we're pulling all of those things kind of together so that we can get uniform pricing, uniform things that will work throughout the city and not have a bunch of stuff piecemealed in.
Right,
So,
okay.
but we have some paperwork on it. I can get it to you that tells about the company and kind of what all they do.
Okay.
But it's pretty interesting to see what all they do.
Yeah.
We already pay them for our code. So Muni Code is owned by Civic Plus, so we already pay
Have them
yearly
as a
to
vendor.
Civic Plus. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, so on page 2, well, of the
Detail.
revenue and expenditure report, it says IT services and IT equipment. Would that be somewhere you're pulling that from, or is that expenses already allotted for something that's going on currently?
That's already allotted for something. That's already allotted for our current computer hut.
Okay.
Of what we pay them for our backup servers, for our server maintenance, for our licensing and everything that we have. That's dedicated to what we already have. So this would be probably an additional, like, we would probably have to come back and do like a capital expenditure or something for it. Yeah. Yeah, because that one will pretty much be ate up in that.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions about any of the detail?
Michael, did you say that we're doing better in April and
Yes.
March?
Sales tax were doing better in April, and we actually had almost the same amount for March and April. It was about $189,000 for each month. So it kind of, one of the months was 159 from the year before, so that kind of gave us a 30,000. And then the other one, we kind of hit it pretty level on. So I think we're about, as of right now, I think we're about $12,000 to $17,000 ahead on sales tax than where we were over last year, which is what we budgeted. We budgeted it to be pretty flat with last year. So, yeah. All right, if we go to, back to your regular pages, page 5 will show you our monthly revenue versus our expenses. In January, we had $958,000 in revenue, $882,000 in expenses. That was a net of about $75,000. February, we had $936,000 in revenue, $991,000 in expenses. And kind of why your expenses jump in February is a lot of your stuff gets billed in January for the year, and then you get your bill in January, and then you pay it. We pay them, a lot of them in February. So that's a negative about $55,000, so we're still at a net of about $20,000.
Where are you?
Page 5, this one, on the, back to the regular, past the,
I didn't get it.
oh,
What? Oh, it's
yeah.
way back.
Past the detail.
Oh, it's back.
After the detail.
After the detail.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Oh, sure.
it's not nice to follow us.
It's the very back.
Should be number page 5 at the, on the page.
Yeah.
Okay. Then on the next chart, that's number page 6. This shows our month-to-date revenue versus the prior year. In 2023, we had, in January, we had $958,000. In January of 2022, we had $1.1 million. In February, we had $936,000. And last year, we had $560,000. And that is correct. I went back and checked that about 4 times. It has a lot to do with some of the water payments and some things like that that weren't billed. That was when we stretched out those billings, when Dwayne was stretching those out and stuff. So that is correct. Okay, on page 7, you'll see our capital expenditures. The things that we added in February were the 2 police vehicles that were $39,498 apiece, so it came out to $78,996. We had a budget of $79,000, and then down at the bottom, Transit had bought a new office printer, and that was on January 17th, but it didn't get paid for until February. Coming up in, I believe, March, we'll have the addition of the modifications for the snowplow. I believe we paid for those in March, and the purchase for fire of their command replacement vehicle. And it was, we had budgeted $45,000, and we also got it for $39,000. So, and our upgrades on our radios are coming in about, we have got our estimates on those, so they already do this. The other thing, the street striping machine, I can't say that tonight. The street striping machine, we had budgeted $35,000 for it, and I believe we put it out for bids, and I think the bid came in at $28,000, so we're going to save some money on that. So it's going to be a little less than what we had budgeted.
What about the jetter trailer for sewer?
The flushing trailer, he hasn't got a bid back on that. He's working on bids on it, and the only one so far that he's got back is the striping machine. He hasn't got the one for his trailer back yet. Okay. Page 8, that's our comparative bank balances. So, just balances in all of our different accounts that we have, and then our CD balances. We are going to, one thing that I'm going to change on this report going forward, I've asked Tabby to put on here, is we're going to put the maturity date on the CDs and the current rates and yields, so that y'all can see the rates and what we renew them at and things. So we're going to add that onto this one so that we can see that. The next page is just the chart on that. You can kind of see our cash is, you know, we're keeping pretty level with our cash. And you see a little bit of volatility in that, but some of that has to do with when your AP was ran. You know, you might have a lot of checks that are out and they just haven't cleared yet. So you're gonna have volatility there at the end of the month. But for the most part, we're staying pretty close, which is a good deal. We're not having a huge cash burn in anything. So a lot of that variation is in your AP.
And it's not a leap year, so.
Yeah. So in page 10, there's really no new information on this. This is just the next payoff or payment date that we have on the long-term liabilities. Our next payment will be on 4/1 of 2023, and it'll be an interest payment of $10,000. Our next large payment on it will be in October, when we pay principal and interest. That's it.
Good job, thank you.
Thanks. Y'all have any questions about anything?
Yeah, any surprises or anything?
No, I have not seen any surprises. We're going to do, you know, we're coming up on mid-year, so we'll do some tweaking on some of the budget numbers as far as correcting type numbers. And our next council meeting, we're going to bring up our cleanup budget for 2022. We have everything done on it, so we'll be doing the cleanup budget, and then in June, we'll turn around and start looking at our mid-year adjustment. So, but I don't see, I mean, we're going to have to make some little tweaks, but I don't see anything, you know, under the $200,000 or anything like that. I see 5,000 here and 5,000 here.
Do we need to start calling you tweaker?
That might be one of the nicer things.
He's got all his teeth.
So, that's all I have, unless y'all have any questions.
Oh, I think you answered all mine.
And like I said, if in between these meetings y'all have any questions at all, please feel free to email me, and I'll try to pull up the data and look it all up and have it for you so that when we get here, I can answer your questions really good, because that's what we want to do.
Thank you, Michael. And anybody, any questions? All right, excellent job. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael.
All right, if there's no other business on Budget Committee, we'll go ahead and adjourn till 6 o'clock and redo our regular meeting.
You sound a little froggy there.